Alright, and is the mic coming in clearly? It looks like it. And 6 a.m., so we are good to go. Alright, so thank you, Jiraiya, for the follow. Right out of the gate, we got a new follower. Let me turn the light on here so y'all can see me a little better, hopefully. Still pretty early for me. Still not quite bright outside. And yeah, I did notice there are a lot of you already in here this morning. So thank you all for joining us for this morning's Blue Skies live stream. I don't know exactly how long we're going to go. It could be 2 hours, could be 3, could be 4. But, as you guys probably already know, the plan here is to play enough to be able to chop this into a few YouTube videos so that we can just, you know, start getting a really big jump on this mod. Because apparently we still have a long way to go. And, also, for those of you that weren't here for yesterday's live stream, Red Dead 2/Quiplash. 1, Quiplash was a lot of fun, so we're probably going to be doing that a little bit more often in these live streams. And 2, I mentioned yesterday that I was recently added to the affiliate program for DLive, and hence why I decided to do 2 live streams this week, sort of as a way to celebrate. Anyway. You guys are here to see some blue skies, so I don't want to ramble on too much. We got 16 people in here now? Man, you guys must really be excited for blue skies. Well, let's just dive right into it then, shall we? Alright, so we are in January in the Sayori route, and I'm pretty sure we're aiming towards the good ending, but let's see where we can go from here. Most people typically see January as a pretty dreary month. January blues, I think it's called. With the cold weather, the gray skies, the end of the Christmas holidays. Yeah, I can see it. Not this January, though. I haven't been able to get Sayori's kiss out of my mind. It's hard to believe she's actually my girlfriend now. And just 4 months ago, we hadn't spoken in years. Joining the club, discovering Sayori's feelings for me, and... well, finding out about her depression. The whole thing has just been so unexpected. Still, there are a few days left out of the Christmas break, and I know exactly how I want to spend them. After shooting Sayori a text, I make my way over. What magical adventures are we gonna go on today, Caesar? I'm glad you asked that, Sayori. Today we're going to a magical snowy wonderland. Expect it to be a wild journey filled with snow, snowballs, and festive lights. She looks at me for a moment before bursting out laughing. Oh, you're so silly sometimes. Hey, it's not like you could come up with good imagery on the spot. Try me. Okay, then I will. Let's see how good you can let's see what you can come up with, Miss Literary Expert. She thinks for a moment. We're going to go on a bold, daring adventure to a place brimming with magical lights, pristine snow, and frozen, icy fractals. You know what? I know what I'm beat. Sayori grins with pride, puffing her chest out proudly. Although I bet you don't even know what half those words mean. Did Yuri lend you a thesaurus? I expected my jibe to earn a pout from her, but she stands firm. Don't be jealous that you'll never stack up to the Ice Queen. Ice Queen? Bold words from someone whose hands get cold super easy. Especially when this person accidentally leaves her gloves at home. Called her there. That got her. Meanie. You can never let me win. I slide up close to her and plant a kiss on her nose. You love it, really. Although the pout tells me otherwise, there's no denying that red blush creeping onto her cheeks. By the way, for your Secret Santa, who did you go shopping with? Natsuki! That must have been an awkward afternoon. It wasn't, actually. It's rare that I get to see Natsuki outside of the club, so it was a really nice day out with her. Girls' day out, eh? You could say that. She helped me out a lot when it came to picking a present for you. Tut, tut. Couldn't even think of a present for me without some outside help. I mean, you're not one to talk. Didn't Yuri help you with your present? You're the one who admitted it was hard at the Christmas party. Yeah, exactly. Checkmate. Since when was your memory that good? This is January. Christmas was like literally last week. No fair. The Ice Queen never forgets. She laughs as I roll my eyes. You really like that self-appointed title, don't you? It's not a very flattering one. Ice Queen kind of implies that She's like really cold and heartless. It doesn't really fit Sayori at all. Does it bother you? Should I let it go? I can't believe you just did that. Frozen reference. She giggles sweetly, playfulness laced in her laugh. Anyway, she was really stuck on what to get Yuri. There were the obvious choices like a new pen, a book, or something to do with tea. She was considering getting her one of those, but she said she wanted to go for something that wasn't so obvious. She can be really thoughtful when she wants to be. Yeah, I got that impression. The look on Yuri's face. Man, she really wasn't expecting the lily at all. I'd have thought Natsuki would have just got her a horror book and be done with it. Well, that's the thing. Natsuki likes to surprise people. Once you get past her prickly side, she has a really big heart. Not really hard to have a big heart when you're that small, though, is it? No, I would think it's the opposite. Caesar. It's a joke, it's a joke. And how is that even really that offensive of a joke? Although, please don't tell her I said that. Only if you buy me chocolate. Okay. That doesn't sound so... and maybe some cookies. Anything else? A back massage, a Ferrari, perhaps a holiday cruise to the Caribbean as well? Well, now that you mention it, you'd be so lucky. What are you gonna have, Sayori? Her eyes whiz over the menu. Given the abundance of cakes, buns, and other sweet foods, I'm not expecting her to reply anytime this decade. Wait a minute, so you're actually, going along with her little blackmail here? Cinnamon buns again? No, actually, I think I'm gonna try the sponge cake. It looks so soft and delicious. The genuine excitement on her face is so endearing to see, and to think a girl this adorable is mine. After giving our order to the waiter, I can't help but reach across the table and take her hands in mine. She looks a little surprised initially, but soon rubs my hands with her fingers, smiling shyly. She's a little surprised? Really? I mean, you guys... this is the same girl that had no problem just, you know, announcing very publicly that she was in a relationship with you, and she also had no problem, you know, sort of pranking you when the first kiss happens, and also having the other 3 club members there when it was happening. And on top of that, this is the same girl who just a few weeks prior said that she didn't want the others to know yet, and she asked you to please respect her wishes and not tell anybody else, yet she couldn't do the same for you. So, she's a little surprised by the hand-holding, really? You know, that's something I've always loved about you. How adorable you are. Huh? Like, even right now, you're getting really flustered, aren't you? And she's surprised by that, too? You've been calling her adorable for, like, half the mod at this point, man. Me? No? What? It took me a while to realize my feelings for you. Ever since that tickle fight we had back in September, I remember seeing a look in your eyes. We were in a really, well, awkward position, and you looked at me with a look I'd never seen before. Yeah, I remember that moment. I had no idea how to react. Why would you describe that as an awkward position when you're trying to, you know, sort of tell a slightly romantic story here? It was the first time we'd spent together outside of school in a while. I was really happy that day. You know what that reminded me of? That reminded me of Family Guy, when Mort Goldman and his wife were talking about their first kiss, and he was just like, "Ow, it was awful. We were both incredibly sick. And, you know, it was cold. And we were so uncomfortable. It was ungodly." Me too. I guess that was the first day my feelings for you began to bloom, and over the months, those feelings grew stronger. You gave me a bit of food once, and your hands brushed against mine. Aleftix MC is horny beyond any acceptable level and must be punished. I remember thinking about how soft your hands felt. It took me totally off guard. So that's why you zoned out? I was wondering why you looked like you were in a trance. I wasn't the greatest at covering my tracks, was I? And you smell really nice, too. Alright. Out of nowhere. I remember letting that slip when we were carving pumpkins. That doesn't really make any sense. I hadn't showered that day. Oh my god, is he about to bring up pheromones again? I don't know, maybe it's... Yeah, it is. I don't know, maybe it's just your natural scent then. Yeah, you know, Sayori, when you sweat, you know, it's really pleasant. I love the smell of your sweat. Man, that makes me sound like a real caveman, doesn't it? At least you're a very handsome caveman. Now it's my turn to go red. Finding my weak spot, Sayori grins and opens her mouth, no doubt eager to watch me flail for a change. Thankfully, her moment of opportunity is interrupted by the waiter bringing us our food. Another huge smile on her face as the cake is put in front of her. It's really not that hard to put a smile on her face, is it? Watching her eat it is a sight to behold. It's almost like she's inhaling it straight into the bottomless pit that is her stomach. What's the matter, Caesar? Compliments making you turn red? You know, it was really cute seeing how nervous you were when you warmed up my hands. You were stuttering and everything. You know, it's strange. Why... I don't know. I guess I used to get a little bit flustered when somebody would give me a compliment like that, or when somebody who I like would give me a compliment like that, but not really anymore. Just like if somebody says something like, you know, you're handsome or you're smart, or one that I have been getting a lot recently, apparently, is that I have a good speaking voice, which, I mean, that's a really cool thing for me to hear. I guess that, you know, doing this sort of stuff has given me a lot of practice, because I used to not really like my voice. But even then, even though I really enjoy when people say that, it's not one that I get, like, flustered about, like, oh, stop. No, I'm just like, yeah, cool, thanks, I appreciate that. You know, I know it used to happen to me, but now I don't really understand why people would get flustered about a compliment from anybody who they like or respect. Like, it should be just like, hey, yeah, thanks. I'm glad you feel that way. Humans are strange, I guess. Even me, because I used to do the same thing. And something tells me it wasn't because of the cold. Guilty as charged. My master plan worked. I should have known it was all a ruse. Then again, I got to hold hands with you, so aren't we both winners? Don't take my victory away from me, meanie. Wait a minute. It's not your victory unless the player was somehow the loser in the situation? Like, what's wrong with you, Sayori? Like, you... Okay, this should have been... This should have been the tag for Evil Sayori right here. Like, the only way she feels like she won is if nobody else won either. Not taking it away from you, just sharing it. Is that so wrong? I stick my tongue out at her. I'll give you credit, though. The mistletoe plan was pretty flawless. Yeah, it was also kind of inconsiderate. I had absolutely no clue it was coming. That was so much fun to plan with the girls, and that's the part that was inconsiderate. Yuri felt bad, but Natsuki and Monika were all for it. You looked absolutely terrified when you saw the mistletoe. Well, duh. It was nerve-wracking enough when we almost kissed before the others arrived. And then I had to do it with 3 other people watching. That plan almost backfired on you, though. Huh? Well, it was your first kiss, too, right? Oh, yeah. Although I had advice from Monika beforehand, Monika gave you kissing tips on how to kiss someone? Yep. I didn't know you were meant to close your eyes. I guess, you know, if you're never told that, then that's one that you probably wouldn't know off the top of your head. I stare at her. Even I knew that. I bet Monika had to teach you a lot, didn't she? I'm not legally obligated to answer that. I burst out into laughter. That wasn't that funny. Hey! Sorry. I'm just trying to picture how that conversation went down. Did you ask Monika how to kiss someone, or where you're meant to put your hands while you do it? No, I didn't. I kind of wanted to, though. I had no idea what to do, to be honest, and I was scared that I'd mess it up. You know, I feel like there's plenty of nice, wholesome YouTube videos that could teach you stuff like that. You know, it being your first kiss and all. And the more I thought about it, the worse I felt that I put you in a really awkward situation. You should feel bad. That was not nice. Out of everything I've ever seen you in, Sayori, with the exception of Blue Skies, that's probably the meanest thing I've ever seen you do. It's really okay. I enjoyed the kiss after all. Plus, it was my first one as well, so I was hardly a pro. Really? Really? And you know what they say, practice makes perfect, right? Very smooth, Caesar. An hour or so later, Dank Noodle News, thank you for the follow, man. An hour or so later, we've both wound up in my living room. An hour or so later? It's nighttime. I'm laying out, or did it say... Yeah, an hour or so later. So it was like, I'm guessing they started, like, in the late afternoon, early evening? Whoa! Dank Noodle News, thank you for the 3 ice creams, man. I really appreciate that. Fun game? Yeah, it is a fun game. It's a fun story. I'm sort of, saying all the good things and the bad things that I like about it as I go along, which I usually do when I play these mods. Content as can be. You know, now that we're actually together, what are we meant to do? you're not supposed to really change anything. I mean, there are moments where you can be a bit more intimate now, but other than that, you're supposed to just keep enjoying the things that you always do. I have no clue. You're my first girlfriend, after all. That is... Okay, that's a good point. Like, if it's your first, you probably have no idea what's supposed to change, because nothing really is supposed to change. Don't get me wrong. It's really nice to just cuddle up together, but when you think about what couples do together, what comes to mind? I have to pause and actually think about this. Like, go on dates? Which I guess we technically just did at the cafe. You've been on a few things that could be considered dates, like the walk in the park. Even the pumpkin carving thing could kind of be considered a date. Sorry, Sayori, I'm really just as clueless as you are. That's alright. I guess we do have all the time in the world to figure it out. Oh man, Dank Noodle News, thanks for the subscribe, man. Man, thank you so much. We have 2 subscribers now, so we are 1/10 the way to the verified partner program. So man, that's awesome. Thanks, man. I don't know what to say. It's really good to have you here. To be honest, I'm perfectly happy just to cuddle up together. Just being with you, no matter what we're doing, makes me happy. Aw, that's how I feel with you too, actually. Does that mean I can cancel the romantic getaway to Paris then? She pokes me in the side. But France is the romance capital of the world. It used to be. I don't feel like that's true anymore. I feel like Paris, especially, has kind of been getting a bad rep recently. Not just because of, you know, like, what's happening in the world, but also because apparently Parisians, they have a reputation of just being, less polite than the rest of France. How much money have you got to spare, Sayori? Does that include pocket money I spent years ago? Yeah, sure. Maybe negative 200 yen then? Well, unless the planes are operated by really tired hamsters, I don't think we'll be going to France anytime soon. I really want a hamster. Why? What do you mean, why? To pet. What would you call it? Stuart. Why? Because of that movie? Yep. You know that Stuart Little was a mouse and not a hamster, right? What's the difference? Hamsters taste nicer. Is it bad that actually made me laugh? No, that was a little bit of, sort of cheesy dark humor, I would say. It means your humor is like mine, so take that as you will. I don't think Sayori is normally the kind of person that would appreciate that kind of humor. That's definitely not a good thing, then. Don't make me push you off the couch. You wouldn't dare. Oh, I have had a better idea. I sit up and without hesitating begin to tickle her mercilessly. Ah, so we're going back to this. That is one thing that a lot of guys, and I mean, especially me, man, when they do get a girlfriend, they try to recreate those same romantic moments that sort of, you know, sparked that interest. And, you know, when you do that once or twice, that's really, you know, it's a cute thing to do. But I feel like a lot of guys, they do it over and over and over again, because it's like, oh, that's the thing that she likes, when you don't realize that every time that you do it, the novelty kind of wears down. Just in my teenage years, that's a lesson that I learned when it came to dating girls. But still, this is the first time he's recreating the tickle thing, so yeah, good move. The effect is instant. Sayori immediately begins squirming and laughing uncontrollably. Oh no, not this again. That's so unfair. You didn't even give me a chance. If I remember correctly, last time it was you who initiated it, so here's a taste of your own medicine. She's writhing on the couch, blue eyes shimmering with tears from her involuntary laughter. Okay, I am sorry for what I said about your humor. Just please stop. As I'm a merciful soul, I abate ever so slightly just to give her a chance to catch her breath. Bad move. Sayori lunges forward, pinning me beneath her. This bout of unexpected dexterity totally catches me off guard, and with a flump, my body sinks into the opposite end of the cushion. Why is she, like, biting her lip? That's I don't know. I'm a little uncomfortable with that pose. She wastes no time in dishing out some cold revenge, and within seconds my laughter and squirming has replaced hers entirely. Oh damn, I did not expect you to be able to do that. She brings her face closer to mine, making sure I can see how smug she is, which actually gives me an idea. Darting forward, I plant a desperate kiss on her lips. Unlike with our previous kiss, this time my tongue is involved. How? Like, okay, if she's pinning you, like, how long is your neck that you're able to just, like, lean forward and not only give her a kiss on the lips, but to put, okay, slowly pressing against her top lip. Still, I feel like you would need to, like, one, either her pin is so weak that you'd be able to break out of it in the first place if you can actually just, like, lunge forward like that. Or two, you have an incredibly long neck. The effect is immediate. Her hands go from trying to tickle me to slowly linking around the back of my head. As the kiss deepens, she slowly pushes me back down onto the couch. Her body falls onto mine, and after a few seconds, I'm lying down with her body directly on top of mine. My mind is going wild, trying to process exactly what's going on. I only intended for the kiss to distract her, but it's ignited some kind of urge in both of us. I mean, I don't know what you expected. It's a brand new relationship. Every time that you kiss in a new relationship, especially when you're still a teenager, is gonna feel like you're over the moon. Her body feels so warm against mine, and with a sudden jolt, I'm very aware of a part of Sayori, namely two parts that are pressed up against my chest. Okay. Needless to say, the atmosphere has completely changed. Neither of us know how to react. The silence continues on, with each passing second feeling like hours. I feel like it should be the opposite, at least how it was with me. Like, in my early dating days, you know, makeout sessions with my girlfriends, it would be like, you know, 20 minutes would pass by and it would feel like just a couple of minutes. We have the house to ourselves. Her body is pressed on top of mine, and there's some kind of primal instinct stirring within both of us. I open my eyes. Sayori? She hastily climbs off me. Sorry, I didn't mean to, it's okay, it just kinda happened. Yeah. Anyway, I had a lot of fun today, Caesar. It's a shame school starts tomorrow, though. I was hoping you wouldn't remind me. And we'll be getting the results of our December exams back. January could go one of two ways. We'll be fine, I think. Only one way to find out. Anyway, it's getting late. Want me to walk you home? Sure. MC be like, let's see where this night takes us. Hey, nice Valentine's Day reference, man. Aleftix, your level of horniness is unacceptable and brings me no joy. Sayori is the new Bill Cosby, but drugs are replaced with tickles. Oh my goodness. I feel like these videos are going to be so much better with the DLive comments. And here we are, back in class. Man, the holidays really whizzed by in a flash. Seeing Sayori in the mornings really makes a huge difference to how I perceive the school day. Am I a morning person now? Maybe she really is my sunshine, just like her poem. She really made me mushy, didn't she? Wonder what Mom would think. Psst. Morning, Emmy. Good Christmas break? So, did it work? Huh? Sayori, duh. Are you guys together yet? Going straight in, I see. Well, are you? Yeah, we are. I knew it! Are you going... Well, I think that's everyone. As the last student makes their way to their desk, Sakurai puts down the register and stands in front of the class. Hope everyone had a good break. There's a weak, lukewarm murmur. Ah, come on, guys. You've got it easy. Your exams were before the break. I used to teach at a school that had January exams. At least they had a reason to be so enthusiastic about returning. Anyone get anything cool for Christmas? Yeah, mine finally caved in and got me a new pair of running sneakers. Practical for sure. A friend of mine got me a plant. I'm not sure what it is about me that screams flower man, but hey, life's full of surprises. Anyway, given I was supposed to start the lesson 5 minutes ago, let's begin, shall we? Normally I'd eat outside when it comes to lunchtime. Given how cold it's gotten recently, the outdoors doesn't particularly appeal to me right now. A lot of students opt to just eat in their home room, especially as the temperatures drop outside. The club room is also a viable choice, and luckily is always free around lunchtime. Over the Christmas break, we suggested eating there in the club room, and despite Monika saying she couldn't make any promises, the decision was pretty much universally agreed on. With my stomach gurgling, I make my way over. Yuri and Natsuki are already there by the time I arrive. While they're not exactly best friends or anything, their relationship is much less shaky than it was 3 months ago. I could tell that Natsuki's thoughtfulness really touched Yuri. Hey guys, Romeo himself has arrived. Natsuki. Afternoon, Caesar. Monika's not here yet? It's not much of a surprise, is it? You know, given how she has like 5 million extracurriculars going on. The door swings open and Sayori walks through, a cheery smile on her face. Hey, I'm so glad we all decided to eat together for lunchtimes. Looking back, I'm kind of surprised no one suggested it either. Well, it's a new year and a new start. All we need now is, once again, the door swings open and Monika waves at us, an apologetic smile on her face. Sorry, I had so much stuff to sort out. My teacher was talking to me about university applications. Already? But your second year of high school isn't even over yet. Alright, so in this canon, Monika's a sophomore. Monika sighs and wearily rubs her temples, pulling out her food. Yeah, I know. It's stressful to say the least. Plus, I'm getting the results of my December exams back soon, which, holy crap, like, what grades did Monika fail to where she's 18 years old and she's a sophomore? Don't worry, Monika. I'm sure you've done just fine. You worked so hard. I'd be inclined to agree. You're a model student, and I know how much effort you put into your studies. Monika smiles at their efforts, but doesn't look wholly convinced. Oh, now that we're all here, I should tell you that we don't have a club meeting today. There wouldn't be much of a point, given none of us have any poems to share. Well, you don't know that. I mean, they could have written poems over the break. We can hold a session tomorrow, though, if you guys are interested. I know we didn't hold too many last semester, and that's on me. Sorry, I had a lot going on. I was under the impression that it was a given that the clubs were a daily thing. So now, I guess, they're just saying that Monika canceled, like, 99% of the club meetings, and, like, those 3 or 4 meetings that they had, those were the only ones. Which, wow. Yeah, I'm down for a meeting tomorrow. I'm probably a little rusty, so this would be a good chance to get back into it. I turned to Sayori. We could write one together if you like. I'm still not as good as you, so this could be a good way to learn. Ooh, that could be really fun. Tonight? Yep. Well, that's the 2 lovebirds sorted. Works for me. Yuri also nods in agreement. Well, I'll see you guys tomorrow then. She finishes writing something down in her planner. I also noticed that she's using the pen Yuri got her for Christmas. Judging by the smile on Yuri's face, it's safe to say she's also noticed. Monika suddenly stands up, swiftly packing away her food containers. Wait, you're leaving so soon? Yeah, I can't really stick around. I need to talk to my parents about the whole university thing. They've been hounding me ever since the exams started. See you guys later. And just like that, she's gone. Free time is foreign to her, isn't it? She really has so much going on. I couldn't fathom being in her shoes. The stress would be too much. Ah, those exams you take for university. I don't envy you guys in the slightest. Ah, well, we don't take those exams until 3rd year, but I think Monika has started her prep recently. Yep, joys of being a first-year Natsuki. Count yourself lucky because you'll be in Monika's shoes before you know it. You see, Natsuki is the only one that I would actually kind of believe that she would be 18 and still be in her first year of high school, because given her background, you know, she has an abusive father. She doesn't seem to be that interested in school to begin with. It could have been that, you know, out of neglect, her parents sent her to school late, or her dad sent her to school late. It could also be that, you know, she just got poor grades, and so she was held back a couple of years in elementary school, maybe. So Natsuki, it's believable, somewhat, because of her personality and her background, that she would be 18 and still in first year. But the others, I'm not so sure. Especially Monika. Wonder how long it'll be until Sakurai starts asking me the same thing. The question lingers on my mind as the rest of the lunch break passes by. As the end of the school day arrives, I wander down the corridor towards Sayori's homeroom. Along the way, I spot Yuri leaving her own classroom. Excuse me, guys. Hello again, Caesar. Yuri looks away nervously, fiddling with a strand of hair. You don't have to, of course, but she stands there struggling to find the right words. What? If you'd like, would you like to walk home together? Uh-oh. Huh? You want to walk home with me? Sorry, it's a stupid suggestion. I don't know why I asked. Yeah, Yuri, what the hell are you doing? You know that MC is in a brand new relationship with Sayori. This is not a good thing to be asking for. It's not like I didn't want to or anything. I just didn't expect you to ask. MC, what are you doing? That is not what you should be saying when you're in a brand new relationship and another girl asks to walk home with you. Are you sure? I know you normally walk with Sayori, and I wouldn't want to intrude upon that or anything. You already have intruded. You're crossing a line here, Yuri. A very, very dangerous line. You're worrying for nothing, Yuri. Why would she mind? The more the merrier. Oh, so the 3 of them are walking home together. That's a little bit different, but still not very cool to be asking something like that. It's cool. I was just on my way to go find her now, so feel free to tag along. Soon after, I spot Sayori in the hallway. She looks curiously at Yuri trailing behind me. There you are. I give her a daring peck on the lips, causing her to blush. Hey! Ready to walk home? Yuri's going to be joining us this time, if that's okay. Ugh, excuse me again. Still early in the morning for me, guys. I hope it's no bother. Sayori flashes across... surprise flashes across Sayori's features as soon as it appeared. Oh. Sure, that's fine. Although, I can't come with you guys today. Oh, no. Oh? My homeroom teacher wanted to talk to me about some stuff, so you two go ahead. Sayori, what the hell are you doing? I mean, okay, I guess you could attribute this to, her depression starting to kick in. But why would she, or maybe she's insecure about, MC and Yuri becoming a thing, but why would you feed that insecurity by saying, oh, okay, then you two, just go ahead and walk home together? Uh-oh. I'll walk with you two tomorrow. Are you sure? Pretty sure we can wait. Yuri nods in agreement. It's no bother, but Sayori shakes her head. No, there's no telling how long it'll go for. Plus, I think it might be a long discussion. So what MC needs to do here is he needs to let Sayori go to her homeroom class and then tell Yuri, hey, you know what? I think I'm just going to wait for her. You can go ahead and walk home. I'm just going to wait for Sayori. I'll see you tomorrow. Ah, okay then. See you soon. Not cool, man. No. Okay, I'm not going to say that that's because MC doesn't care. I'm going to say it's because he doesn't know. Bye, Sayori. It's slightly strange walking home with Yuri. Nothing against her, of course. It's just I'd grown used to Sayori being there instead. Although Yuri's still fairly shy, I've noticed that she's come out of her shell a little bit, especially since we went Christmas shopping together. Okay, so Yuri is being inconsiderate, and MC is being tone deaf, I guess, would be the word for it. Not that I'm complaining or anything, but why do you want to walk home with me today? Well, she looks away and sighs. It's just not so easy. I don't push it. If my fight with Sayori taught me anything, it's that you can never tell what demons people are internally battling. Given that I still know very little about Yuri, it's definitely best to err on the side of caution. The Christmas period has been very family-oriented, at least for me. For as long as I can remember, my parents used to put a lot of effort into making Christmas memorable. Especially in this country, because the focus of Christmas is on spreading happiness. From what I read, Christmas is much more festivity concerned with religion in Western countries. But I digress. I haven't spent Christmas with my family in a while. And if you don't mind me asking, why is that? Yuri looks away, picking at her sleeves. I've noticed that she tends, excuse me again, to do that when she's upset or nervous. They weren't around this year. There's a pause. I feel like there's more to her answer, but again, instincts tell me not to push it. The Christmas period was very lonely, as you could imagine. Going shopping with you, exchanging gifts, playing with all of the club members. It truly was the highlight of December. Although it was only temporary, when I got home I took out the peace lily that Natsuki gave me. It was such a thoughtful gift, but it was also bittersweet. That would have been the type of present that my parents would have got me. So while it was lovely to receive the plant, it was a reminder that my parents weren't the ones who gave it to me. Hey, Yuri. I had no idea you were so lonely. If you told me this earlier, I'd have loved to have spend time with you. You're crossing into dangerous territory here, man. Even if your intentions are good, there is a lot that can go wrong here. I had a lot of fun when we did our Christmas shopping. You were really good company and really gave useful advice. Well, you and Sayori are a couple, and the last thing I'd want to do would be to intrude on that. Well, you kind of are, right now. I wave her concern away. Yuri, Sayori and I both like you. You're our friend. You've seen how Sayori makes it her top priority to ensure her friends are happy. Yeah, you also know why she does that, man. It's not a problem at all. Yes, it is a little bit of a problem. I'm sorry to bother you with my troubles like this. It's just that I couldn't really talk to the other two girls. Why not? Monika is constantly very busy, and Natsuki, well, our friendship has definitely improved since you first saw us argue, but not at a stage where you can be comfortable asking her to hang out. Yes. I've always been quite solitary by nature, and while I enjoy time to myself, sometimes it would be nice to spend time with another person, especially one as open-minded and considerate as you. Okay, so the compliments that she's giving here are also kind of a red flag. Not that I don't appreciate the other club members, it's just that, well, I haven't really spent a day with any of them where it's just us two. And, well, I think it's rather obvious that social etiquette isn't an area I excel in. Hey, well, I'm glad you're comfortable around me and able to tell me about this stuff, Yuri. I know what it's like to be lonely. Last year, before I reconnected with Sayori and met all you guys, I was pretty much alone too. I mean, I had classmates, sure, but we never really spent time together outside of class. A lot of my free time was spent alone, and then my parents had a divorce, and that made it a lot worse. So yeah, I'd hate for someone else to go through that, especially someone who's this good a friend. I give her a quick hug. Based on the look on her face, it's safe to say she was definitely not expecting it. It's not a thing you should have given either. Thank you, Caesar. It really means a lot to me. No, nothing to thank me for. It's what friends do. Anyway, what are you up to tonight? What? No. No, 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 no! Well, given the semester has only just begun, I'm relatively free, as I don't have any homework to complete. No, 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 no! No, this is not going good. I've also started this new book. It's very popular, so you may have heard of it as well. The story revolves around a group of children and their struggle against a supernatural homicidal entity, which uses shape-shifting to exploit its victims' worst fears. It typically takes the form of a deranged-looking clown. Actually, I have heard of that one. The kids later go on to fight the monster as adults, like 20 years later, right? Yuri's eyes light up. I've always been meaning to get into it. Well, I actually have a spare copy if you'd be interested in reading it. Oh, well, that's a coincidence if I've never seen one. Sure thing. I'll let you know how I'm finding it if you like. If that's something you'd want to do, that would be lovely. Well, this is me. Okay. I guess Yuri was really engrossed in our conversation. Now that we're here, there's a wistful, sad look on her face as she tries to hide by turning it away. Well, I'll see you tomorrow, and thanks for letting me walk home with you. That's nothing, Yuri, and thanks for the book. I'll get started on this tonight. I look forward to hearing your thoughts on the first few chapters tomorrow, then. She turns and leaves. As I absent-mindedly watch her walk down the street, I can't help but wonder if there's anything more I could do for her. In some ways, her situation is like Sayori's, both girls struggling with an invisible adversary, and I was totally oblivious. Given Yuri's solitary nature, I suppose it was easier to see. I wonder if Monika and Natsuki are struggling with anything as well. Given the latter's prickly nature, I don't think she'd ever tell me. And with Monika, it seems she's under a lot of pressure from her parents and teachers. This club isn't exactly the epitome of happiness, is it? After an hour or so, Sayori texted me to let her know she was on her way. Man, her teacher really kept her for a while. Now that we've settled into the living room, pens and paper at the ready. I can't decide what this poem should be about. Sorry. I'm not exactly that bothered about writing a poem. To be honest, I only suggested this so we could spend more time together. Really? Maneuver myself, and that's I've never seen that way of spelling maneuver before. So I'm sitting directly behind her, wrapping my arms around her back. She giggles and leans backwards. Uh-huh. But Caesar, I know. With a sigh, I detach myself and pull up the notepad in front of me, pen in hand. After a while, we're both finished with our poems. Sayori wasn't kidding when she said she does better in creative subjects. Watching her brainstorm and write her poem has proven to be a real eye-opener. Although not quite to the same extent as Yuri, Sayori really gets lost in her own little world. As she wrote, I was struck by how much attention she goes into her work. For instance, excuse me again, guys, I am Yanni this morning. For instance, she deliberately avoids cliches and has an interesting, varied rhyme scheme. Her language is emotive and effective, enabling the reader to vividly picture what she's talking about. You've seen many of her poems, man. You should already know this. It's easy to immerse yourself into the world she creates. And the best part was seeing the look on her face as she wrote. My poem obviously can't hold a candle to hers, but it was at least much more enjoyable to write my poem with her sitting next to me. Sayori? What did your homeroom teacher want to talk to you about? Oh, that. Well, I haven't been handing homework in on time. I've just been... Well, it's impossible to find the motivation to work... to work on it sometimes. Haven't you thought about telling him about, well, your depression? I feel like a teacher is teachers are definitely supposed to know about that kind of stuff. Like, when they get new students at the beginning of the year. Each student has a file on them, and the file will tell you, if the student is suffering from any kind of mental illness, if the child has any kind of special needs. So the teacher should know, and if the teacher doesn't know, then there could be a lawsuit potentially from that. I'm sure they'd be a bit more lenient if they knew what was going on. From their perspective, they probably just think you're being lazy. Maybe. That would be a lot of hassle. As she talks, I reach over into my bag and pull out the book Yuri lent me. Ooh, what's that? It looks scary. Oh yeah, it's a book Yuri lent me while we were walking home. She just got into this book herself and happened to have a spare copy, just as I told her I always wanted to read this book as well. What a coincidence, huh? You see? Look at look at that face right there. There's a silence for a few seconds. Did I say something wrong? You're being honest about what happened. You probably could have downplayed it a little bit, like, you know, it's some book that Yuri wants me to read. Like, you should have said it that way. You should have made it sound like you don't really care that much. But the things that you did wrong was, you know, starting this new, committed thing with Yuri. Sorry, my mind was blanking because I was reading the comments. Sayori? Oh, sorry, I was just, looking at the front cover. Pretty creepy, huh? Another awkward silence. Okay, so... given what MC was able to put together earlier in the mud, this moment, I think he is being just as brain dead and tone deaf as he was when he was yelling at Sayori. No, not quite as tone deaf and brain dead as he was when he was yelling at Sayori when she first admitted her depression. But he's still being pretty tone deaf and brain dead. Although it also... okay, no, I take that back. As somebody who has been a teenage boy before, I guess it is fair to say that sometimes when it comes to interacting with girls, particularly ones that he's in a relationship with, that he can do things that are a bit naive and inexperienced. So for a teenage boy that has no experience dating, I guess it is kind of believable that this is a fuck up that, you know, that he would actually have. Caesar, why did Yuri want to walk home with you? Huh? Why does she look angry all of a sudden? Well, you know, I feel like at this point, even an inexperienced teenage boy should kind of be putting it together. Like, uh-oh, maybe I shouldn't have walked home with Yuri. Oh, that. I'm not sure if I should tell Sayori about Yuri really feeling lonely. As good as their friendship is, Yuri's confession was rather personal. Yes, it was. And it's also sort of on Yuri. Like, you know, sure, Yuri is lonely and all, but still, like, you know, intruding on somebody who just started a new relationship and sort of having this, you know, borderline intimate conversation with them and walking alone home with them and, you know, sharing a book with them. I mean, you know, Yuri should have known that was not cool. I can't tell you. Why not? You don't say I can't tell you to your girlfriend about your interactions with other girls, man. That is... no, you do not do that. Well, it's personal. Okay. Yuri's just, well, going through some difficult times at the moment. And we're friends, so I guess that's why she wanted to talk to me. And you like spending time with her, don't you? I mean, yeah, isn't that normal between friends? Yeah, of course it is. I'm glad you two get along so well. You two also went Christmas shopping together, right? Jesus. You see, this is where the suspicion and the insecurity comes in. Yep, she's actually really good with suggestions. But she did take ages in the stationery shop. You think I'd be used to that, given how long you spend with shops that have candy. I playfully nudge her, but she barely responds. You okay? You seem a little tense. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was just thinking about all the homework I need to catch up on. I should probably get going, actually. Aw, really? She stands up and heads to the door. You can always ask Yuri to come over. Yep, she's not happy. She's better company than I am anyway. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Huh? She closes the door and I'm left there wondering what that was all about. It's... alright, I feel like, you know, I'm gonna repeat a line that I said before. I think even a child would see what's obviously wrong here. Did I say something to upset her, or perhaps she had a fight with Yuri? Oh boy. I mean, that explained why she seemed angry at the mention of Yuri's name. MC, you're not this dumb. I mean, you can be dumb sometimes, but you're not this dumb. Yeah, I'm too tired to think this one over. I'll ask her about it tomorrow. Feeling refreshed after a decent night's sleep, I'm patiently waiting for Sayori. The winter chill really has no mercy, especially in the early morning. Thankfully, Sayori isn't particularly late, and before we know it, we're on our way to school. Hey, Caesar. Yes, Lady Sayori, how can I be of service on this fine winter morning? I was curious. Who's your favorite club member? Yeah, she's definitely insecure. Not including you? I don't really have any, to be honest. None of them are as awesome as you. Come on, you've got to like one of them more than the others. You can't, well now, I mean, she's doing this because she's insecure because of the player and Yuri walking home together, which means she should be. She has every right to be raising some eyebrows at that. But this is something, okay. This is a mistake that I see girls make a lot. Like guys, like young guys make a lot of mistakes in a relationship. This is one that I see a lot of young girls make. Is that when they ask a question that will either confirm or void their suspicions, and the guy answers in a way that suggests that maybe they have nothing really to worry about, they pry them to answer further in the direction that would give them reasons to be suspicious, even though the guy isn't giving them any real reason to be suspicious, until they start prying them and sort of forcing them to answer in the way that they don't want him to answer. That's a mistake that, so that's a tip for the girls. Ladies, if your guy gives you an answer that basically should tell you that you have nothing to worry about, don't search. Don't, like, you know, search as hard as you can for a reason to be suspicious, because if you do that, then you're going to turn a molehill into a mountain when you do eventually get him to absent-mindedly say something that you don't like. So don't try to make him say something that you don't want him to say. Just, you know, take his answer for what it is, because chances are the first answer that he gives you is the correct one. I narrow my eyes. Where's this question coming from? Why the sudden interest? I just wanted to know how well you're getting along with the others. Aleftix, he confirms. He says, oh my god, that shit pisses me off so much when I catch a female doing that. Yeah, I mean, it did piss me off a lot when I was a teenager. Now, you know, well, one, you know, the women I date now, they're in their late 20s, so they're mature enough to not do that. But when I do see any, like, young woman doing that, it's just something, like, it's like, I tell the young guys that are dating them, hey, that's just something you gotta get used to. You know, give them, you know, 4, 5, or 6 years. You know, when they're in their mid-late 20s, they'll grow out of it, and, you know, like, it'll be different. But, you know, she's still young. She's, you know, both of you are still, you know, not fully mature yet. So, you know, stuff like this is going to happen. You make mistakes too, man. Don't forget that. I mean, so you can't criticize her too much for making mistakes when you're also making mistakes. So just, you know, get used to it, roll with the punches, and give it a few years until she grows out of it. Definitely not Natsuki for obvious reasons. I never got the feeling that she likes me, plus it's always really awkward when it's just the two of us. I spoke to her alone once last semester, and it was a painful experience. What about Monika? See, again, she is really prying for an answer here. She's prying for an answer that she doesn't want. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. So I will say credit to the mod for sort of giving a pretty realistic interpretation of, like, how a teenage girl would respond when she feels insecure or suspicious about her relationship. She's digging really hard for a negative answer, and that is pretty spot on. She looks super attractive when I told her how much I like the club just before, super appreciative, not attractive. I was about to say, why the hell are you telling Sayori that you thought Monika was attractive? Super appreciative when I told her how much I liked the club just before we performed, but to be honest, she's always been a little intimidating. I nervously scratched the back of my head. You know, being the perfect student and all, maybe I'm imagining it, but sometimes I get the impression that she might look down on me. Don't get me wrong, I definitely appreciate all of her work for the club and all. Much like Natsuki, we've never really spent any time together, so I wouldn't really say she's my favorite either. So, what about Yuri? Okay, here's the big one. Unless I'm mistaken, Sayori is trying really hard to appear nonchalant. It isn't working particularly well. Okay, so if you know that she's searching for a negative answer, then your two best options are either call her out on what she's doing respectfully because you don't want to start a fight, or two, don't give her the answer that she's looking for but does not want. Those are your two options. If you go any other direction, then it's going to go badly. Well, I'd probably say her. He gave her the answer that she doesn't want. And he knew. He just said that he knew Sayori was trying to act nonchalant and it wasn't working. So he knows what she's doing, and he still went for the answer that he knows she doesn't want. MC, you are such a prick. Like, you're either unbelievably dumb beyond, like, and I say unbelievably again, as in dumb beyond believability, or you're just being a prick. Like, what the hell, man? I mean, I've got to know her a little better over the last semester, and she went from someone who could barely maintain eye contact with me to someone who agreed to go shopping with me when it was just us. Why are you putting it that way? Why the... guys, I know, I'm saying, well, that's MC for you. He's dumb. I don't think he should be this dumb. I don't think that MC should be this dense, especially considering some of the scenes we've seen before where MC was able to put the pieces together. Like, if he was able to put the pieces together that Sayori was hiding some sort of emotional baggage before she revealed it was depression, he should be able to put it together what Sayori is doing now. This is much easier to figure out. Okay. I've enjoyed seeing her come out of her shell to allow me to see the real her, I guess. Ah, okay. That's what I thought. Sayori, is everything okay? I've noticed that you left kinda abruptly last night after we talked about Yuri. That should have been another clue for you, you freaking idiot. Did you guys have an argument or something? I really can't imagine those two having a fallout of all people. It's extremely rare for Sayori to get angry, along with the fact that their personalities don't clash at all. So, what could it be? Oh, of course not, silly. I was just a bit surprised at how friendly she's been with you recently, that's all. Okay, so she's opening up to you about the things she's worried about. Now, are you gonna say, are you gonna, downplay it and tell her that she has nothing to worry about, which is what you should do? Or are you gonna say, well, yeah, we have been getting really friendly, you've been getting along great, like, she's really nice, I enjoy spending time with her. Given how shy she is, I'm just curious to, I'm just a bit surprised, that's all. That is true. We can't forget that a lot of this fault is on Yuri for, like, intervening so strongly on a couple in their new relationship, and still agreeing to walk home with the guy when Sayori said that she couldn't walk home. So, yeah, so Yuri's at fault here. I'd say the order of people at fault here right now, like, for first place, it's a tie between the player and Yuri. Like, both of them just made really bad moves. Right. School is looming in sight, so unfortunately our conversation will have to end there. So as you can tell, the 1930s were very important for European history. Alright, so we're beyond World War I, and if we're in the entire 1930s, then we're at the start of World War II. Countries all across the continent were experiencing significant changes, both politically and socially. Now, I made it my New Year's resolution to end my lessons before the bell rings, so we'll call it there. Oh, by the way, could I have a word, Caesar? I swear to God, those must be the scariest words you could ever hear. Well, along with I'm pregnant, we have to talk, or it's not you, it's me. I think there are a few other that you could add to that list because of your own idiocy. Hopefully, things I won't hear from Sayori, especially that second one. Eep. Like, you'd be okay with hearing the first one? Like, you would take I'm pregnant over we have to talk? Really? I approached the front desk, awkwardly hovering by the side. I need to give you the results of your exam, so here they are. Okay. You're giving the player his, like, individually? I would think that's something that you would pass out, like, at the beginning of the first day of class. The fish, for fuck's sake, finally, the end of World War I. Okay, add I need to give you the results of your exams to that list. That's not scary. He pulls out the piece of paper and lowers his voice as some students are eating nearby. You don't have to look like you've seen a ghost. My mind wanders back to October. Funny he should mention ghosts. For the most part, you've done well. Your grades in history, Japanese, and English especially were satisfactory. Looks like being in that literature club has really helped, huh? How did you know about that? Caesar, please. I'm a wise old owl. Aren't you one of the youngest teachers at this school? He sighs dramatically. You can never let me have my fun, can you? Why is this dialogue a little bit reminiscent of some of the conversations that the player has with Sayori? I'm guessing that the writer who wrote those jokes in also wrote these jokes in. Like, I don't know, kind of a weird conversation to have with a teacher, I think. Although your grades in other subjects could be a little better, namely math and physics. It's not a cause for concern, but I know you can do better. Yeah, about that. Truth be told, last semester was kind of hectic. Relationship stuff. You're just gonna throw that out there to your teacher? Sayori? And he knows. Okay, that's a territory that you don't go into as a teacher. Like, you only go into that territory as a teacher if the student, is dealing with, you know, something like that could potentially be like life-threatening or something that could, you know, affect their wellness that has to do with their relationships. That's when you intervene as a teacher, and even then you don't go far. Like, you get the details and then you take the details to the guidance counselor. You don't just throw that in there like so how's that relationship with so and so going? Like, no, come on, man. Bad territory to go into as a teacher. How did you know? His eye twinkles with a knowing smile. Anyway, you're a bright student. Well, when you want to be. So breathe a sigh of relief. I'd recommend paying attention to the technical stuff from math and physics, especially. And don't be afraid to ask for help when it's needed. Not everyone can excel at everything, but I've faith in your ability to bring your grades up. Thanks, sir. The past few months weren't easy. Relationships are tricky. I'm so glad I was able to keep up academically, at least. He pauses to study me, offering a shrewd smile. Of course. Just be careful not to make Sayori jealous. From what I've seen, the literature club is full of girls. Again, dude, not territory that you go into as a teacher. He chuckles to himself. Now, I've got to go to a meeting that I have to pretend to be interested in. There really is no rest for the wicked. With a nod, he turns to leave. As I turn to follow him, my brain keeps replaying his words over to me. Just be careful not to make Sayori jealous. Fumbling with my phone, I notice it's a text from Monika sent to all of the club members in group chat. Hey guys, just been told that the club room is being used after school today. Ah, what a surprise! There's no club meeting today either. It's for a supervision session for people to talk to their teachers about their exam grades. Plus something super important has popped up, which means that I can't make it. I'll do my best to rearrange it. Sorry guys. I'm mechanically shooting her a reply while on autopilot. My brain is whirring at 1,000,000 miles an hour as I finally realize something I should have seen coming. Is he having hindsight about his interaction with Yuri? Before I can say anything, Sayori starts the conversation. So my teacher gave me my exam results back. Oh? Yeah, I can't really complain, I guess. I did much better than I thought I would for biology, but physics was a bit of a nightmare. Math wasn't great either. But on the whole, I think I've done okay. Sayori, are you jealous of Yuri? Alright, just... I mean, you know... it's good that you're addressing it, but just pulling that out of nowhere, I think, probably was not the best way to do it. The abruptness of my question, along with the clash of conversation topic, takes her by surprise. For a moment, there's a silence which grows heavier as I realize how tactless I was with my approach. Yes. What makes you think that? You're my girlfriend, and I've known you for years. What would I have to be jealous of? Okay, well, again, no, she's doing a typical teenage girl thing, or a typical, like, young woman thing. So, yeah, this is to be expected. She gets the very, very obvious signs, and then she pretends like she has no idea what he's talking about. Yeah, that's also a very, like, teenage girl, young woman thing to do, so... She's trying to sound confident in her answer, but the wavering in her voice gives her away. I don't know, that time we spent together, the Christmas shopping, and her walking home with me yesterday? Sayori turns away, so I can't read the expression on her face. When she replies, she's talking to the ground. I'm sorry, Caesar, it's just, you seem so happy with her, and we're just friends, Sayori. I would have thought you could see that. Don't you trust me? Well, that sounds a little bit manipulative. That's not the best way to ask that. I'm not sure I want to hear the answer. It's not that I don't trust you, it's just that I'm trying to believe that I'm worth your time and want to hear about how she's your favorite club member. And you really enjoyed seeing her come out of her shell. So that's why she was asking me. It all makes sense now. First her depression and now the jealousy. Well, also the answer that you gave was a really dumb, tone-deaf answer, MC. And when I asked why Yuri wanted to walk home with you, you said you couldn't tell me why because it was personal. Yeah, that's another thing. You don't keep secrets about, you know, your relationship with girls who are friends when you're in a relationship. Like a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship with a girl. I mentally smacked myself. Looking back, of course, that answer must have sounded suspicious. What is it with MC in doing the stupidest things that he could possibly do in situations in this mod, and then realizing almost immediately after the fact how stupid it was? As I said, this, I mean, I know that MC is dense, but this is like taking it to a ridiculous level. I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to sound like I doubted you or anything. Sayori and I settle into my house. Once we're comfortable, I continue to press her. No, Sayori, it's not your fault. I didn't really see it from your perspective at all. Please believe me when I say that you're the only one I want. Yuri is a great friend, but that's it. The feelings I felt for her have always been platonic. I wrap her into a hug and she sighs. As I stroke her, she clings to me, hiding her face in the folds of my blazer. I'm the one who should be apologizing. I'm totally new to relationships, so I really don't have a clue what I'm doing. It's okay, it's okay. I didn't think you were doing it to hurt me or anything. Okay, good, because I'd never do anything to hurt you. I've been such an idiot. Yuri has been feeling really lonely recently. I briefly fill Sayori in on what Yuri told me yesterday. I'm not entirely sure if I should be telling her this, but at this point in time, I'm much more concerned with complete clarity between Sayori and I. You don't have to give all the details away. Like, one, I don't think Yuri would mind too much if Sayori knows about this stuff, but two, you can give, you know, the basics of it away just to put Sayori's mind at ease without having to go into territory that would make Yuri feel like you're violating her privacy. Oh, so that's why. It makes a lot of sense thinking about it. Although I can't help but think. She looks down at the ground again, nervously biting her lip. I can't help but feel that Yuri likes you, Caesar. Ah, really? Well, I mean, if she was bold enough, if the shy girl was bold enough to ask a boy who has a girlfriend to walk home with her, then yeah, it's pretty obvious. You can be really dense sometimes. That is the understatement of the goddamn century. There's a sad playfulness to her tone. Yes, really. She's trying to spend more time with you. She really appreciates your company. It's subtle, but I can tell by the way she looks at you. I think she gets attached really quickly. But she said she knew we were together and didn't want to intrude on that or anything. Sayori? Maybe I was right then. About what? About me just dragging you down. What can I even give you that Yuri can't? You said it yourself. She's lonely, and if she was with you, then she'd be happy. She's smart, she's really pretty, she's elegant. Well, this is going into territory that's more believable in terms of how Sayori's depression would be affecting her. And what am I? I'm just an airhead. I can't even find the time to get ready in the morning. I'm just dead weight to you. Okay. So again, so surprisingly, the mod, I was told that the mod gets better, and yeah, the mod's realism does seem to be improving a little bit now. Because this is a bit more how I would expect Sayori's depression to affect her. And also just, you know, still being a teenage girl and, you know, insecure about her relationship. This is also, somewhat, like, yeah, it's a somewhat believable reaction. And even more believable, actually much more believable when you combine it with her depression. So, okay, yeah, the mod is getting better. You're so much more than that, Sayori. Even if Yuri was the most desirable girl on the planet, I wouldn't give a damn because you're the only person I want. So I'm anticipating that this is going to be another drag-out session where the dialogue goes on much longer than intended. So we're going to speed read this scene, and then we're going to take a break and call that the first video. We're going to keep going with the stream, but this is going to be the first YouTube video done. So here we go. You know something? When I was walking with Yuri yesterday, I couldn't help but wish it was you that I was with. It's the only time we didn't walk together, but one time is all I needed to know how much I enjoy walking home with you. So what if you can't find the time to get ready in the morning? You're still beautiful, even if when you don't try. Ah, Caesar. You're just saying that, though. I swear on my life that I'm being 100% genuine. These are things that I wanted to say to you, but never really known how, and that's not all. I wake up every morning feeling so goddamn lucky knowing that you're my girlfriend. You've always been there for me when I needed it most. I don't think I ever told you how happy you make me. I pull her in close for a kiss. She clings to me, and I can sense the urgency in her touch. It's impossible to describe how it feels to hold her in this moment of vulnerability. I don't really care about how elegant Yuri is, if I'm being honest. That's her, who she is. I much prefer your quirkiness and how silly we can be together. We have that link that no other girl in the world can say we have. We really do have that history together, don't we? A history that I'd never trade for anything. Caesar? Mm-hmm. Please don't leave me. I know that I'm being selfish for asking that. You're not. It's still so confusing, but when I'm with you, I feel warm inside, and I think that, well, just for a moment, maybe everything will be okay. I can't really understand why you care so much about me, but I'll trust you. I'm glad, Sayori, I really am, but if I'm being honest, she looks up at me. We can't do this alone. I think we should look into getting you some therapy. She looks away. I'll obviously be here for you. I'm just a normal teenage guy. There's only so much I can do. I don't know. Why not? It's just a really scary thought. I don't want to go through all that false hope again. Again? Well, I've tried therapy and antidepressants before, Caesar. Back when I was first diagnosed with depression, everyone told me that it would work. They told me I would feel okay again, but that never happened. I was much younger back then, and everything was a million times scarier and more confusing. All of those tests, those questions, those drugs, I don't know what was wrong with me. The whole thing was terrifying. What I'd give to be a medical professional right now. Wow, Sayori, I had no idea. I wouldn't have expected you to have known. Would you believe me if I said things would be different this time around? And how would you know that? I wouldn't, at least for sure, but if we leave this unchecked, how would things ever change? It must be really hard for you. Believe me, I can only imagine what you're going through, and I totally get why you'd be reluctant to try it again, but I promise you, this time I'll be here. You wouldn't have to go through all of it alone. I squeeze her hand. Well, we'll get through it together, remember? But what if it doesn't work again? We'll find another doctor or another therapist until it does. It's not going to be easy, though. I know, but I'm never going to give up on you, so I don't care how long it takes. You're so selfless in how much you care for other people's happiness, but I want you to be happy. Do I really deserve that, though? If other people deserve happiness, why don't you, Sayori? Just ask yourself that. Please. For me. Okay, for you. It feels like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders finally. I feel like I'm not alone in trying to help Sayori anymore. I know that it must have been a really difficult thing to agree to. I'm really proud of you. You're much braver than you realize. Although, I haven't been too pushy or anything, have I? I want to encourage you, not force you. It's something I would have had to try again sooner or later, I guess. While there is always a chance that therapy might fail again, it's also the only way I could potentially get better. See? That's the spirit. She doesn't look wholly convinced, but smiles away. I'll do it for you, Caesar. I'm not going to hold my breath, but if it makes you happy, I'll give it a try. That's all I can ask right now. It means a lot to me that you'd be willing to try again. Well, let's hope this works out a little bit better. Anyway, I'll talk to my doctor tomorrow. Sounds like a plan. Offer to join her at therapy. This is something that she has to face herself. Okay, she doesn't want you to leave, so let's offer to join her. Oh, and Sayori, I can come with you for your therapy sessions if you want. Are you sure? Would they let you? I think so. I mean, if you tell them you're okay with it, I don't see why not. Just keep me updated, okay? I wouldn't want to miss your first session. Okay, then. And thank you. It's kind of daunting to start, so having you around should hopefully make it easier. I'm just glad I can help. And we're done. Okay, so if you're watching this via the YouTube video, this is going to be video number 1 done. So we're going to end the first video here. So until the next video, I'm Caesar Madrazo, and I am out.